What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we got the full-on roadmap and blog post for what we can expect content-wise for Season 2 of Modern Warfare 3, and while we did cover some of this stuff because it was shown off in a little teaser trailer from yesterday, there are a lot more details to cover today, so that's what we're going to be doing, just focusing on the multiplayer side of things. And starting it off, the 3 new maps they shared in yesterday's teaser trailer are all confirmed to be coming with the launch of Season 3, which is excellent. I thought one of them would be held back for mid-season, but that's going to be a remaster, which we'll cover in a little bit. But we also got some more images, including the overhead view of these maps, so we get a much better indication of how these maps should play out. And let's start off with departures, which turned out being a lot bigger than I expected to see just based on that teaser trailer. So with this, it seems like there's a small outside area you can fight in, and most of the combat is actually going to be taking place inside the airport. As far as the layout goes, honestly, this looks like a fairly cluttered layout with lots of potential for long lines of sight mixed in there as well. It's also got a very terminal style vibe, of course, because it is set in an airport. I really like the clean lines on this. But honestly, just looking at the overhead, at least, of the map layout, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to love this layout. But of course, I'm going to give it an actual shot before I share my final opinion on this. It's just sort of my initial impression based on the overhead layout. As for the next one, this is Stash House, and this looks extremely small. Like, not quite as small as Shipment, but pretty close, and it looks like they're also going to be using it for 2v2, but it is a 6v6 map. So I'm expecting quite a lot of chaos on this, and I'm sure it will be quite popular with those in the community that love the tiny maps, and that is a very large portion of the community, judging by how popular Shipment is. For me personally, I'm generally not a big fan of tiny 6v6 maps, but that is just my personal preference, and I'm sure many are going to be excited to see this. And then finally, for the brand new 6v6 maps that are coming right at launch with Season 2 next week, we have Vista, and this is the one I am definitely most excited for. I think this one is going to play out very well. Not only do I love the aesthetics of this, but especially now that we actually see the overhead layouts, this looks great. I'm really looking forward to this map. I think this one has the potential to be one of my favorites in the game, just based on the little bit that we've seen so far. Again, obviously, I haven't had my hands on this yet, so that opinion may change over time, but my initial impression is quite positive when looking at this map. So those are the 3 6v6 maps we're getting at launch with Season 2. However, there's another one coming mid-season, and this is a reimagining of Das Haus. So we have the same layout of Das Haus from Call of Duty Vanguard, but it's set on a skyscraper that's currently under construction, and I love the fact that they did this. This is what I've been hoping for since Das Haus was leaked in the code. I was really hoping it wasn't just going to be a copy and paste from Vanguard and that same dark environment. I love that they went with a daytime setting here with a totally different aesthetic while having that same layout. And as far as small maps go, I do quite like Das Haus. I think it is quite good for a small map. And overall, I'm feeling very good about the map content coming with this season. It seems like in recent years, we've really been conditioned to only expect 3 6v6 maps for a season, and typically one of those 3 maps is also a remaster, so just 2 brand new ones. This time, we're getting 3 brand new maps that have never been seen before, as well as a reimagining of a previous map, and that's excellent. I would love to see this trend continue going forward. On top of this though, with Season 2, they're also adding 2 new map variants. So these are existing maps that were already in the game, they've just reskinned them. And these are going to be Airborne, which is a reskin of Terminal, as well as Skid Row, which is a reskin of Skid Row. And these are designed to look sort of post-apocalyptic. As far as I can tell, these are going to be limited time and not in regular rotation. They're going to be including them with the previous Vortex maps that we saw, which were the reskins of Rust, Scrapyard, as well as Quarry. Next, we have a brand new war map coming as well, and this one looks pretty interesting. This one's called Operation Tin Man, and it takes place on a skyscraper in Urzikstan, and it looks like for the first stage, the attackers are going to be actually parachuting into the map, which you guys might recognize a little bit. This was designed with the general layout of the Overwatch map from the original Modern Warfare 3. Now, after that first stage, you will descend through the skyscraper to get toward the bottom, and I really like the idea of that as well. This seems like a very unique take on a war map, and while I haven't been playing a whole lot of war since the game launched, I'm definitely looking forward to giving this one a shot. Next, let's talk a little bit about multiplayer game modes that are coming. The first thing is Team Gun Game. This is coming with the launch of Season 2, and they have mentioned this in the past. I actually thought it was meant to come with Season 1, but perhaps I misread, or maybe they delayed it. But with this one, it's basically just gunfight, but it's 6v6, and it takes place on the standard 6v6 maps, rather than just a 2v2 version of it. Another mode that's coming at launch is a snipers only mode, which is excellent for those people that really want to just go sniper only. Then another mode that's coming with the launch of Season 2 that we have seen in the past, this is Horde Point, which is basically just hardpoint, but there are zombies and various power-ups involved with that as well. Then mid-season, there's going to be a brand new mode called Juggermosh. And this one seems quite interesting. With this, everybody spawns in as a Juggernaut. You're going to be a Juggernaut 100% of the time. It's only Juggernaut combat. So you've got a ton of health, lower maneuverability, and a high headshot multiplier as well. So it seems like it's really going to be rewarding headshots a lot. This mode takes place within Kill Confirm, Domination, and Hardpoint, and it looks like you're actually going to be fighting over a one-hit kill melee weapon that will be placed in the middle of the map. Also, once you kill an enemy, you're going to be able to grab armor from their body, and there will be health bars above enemy players as well, which I think would be really well suited to a mode like this. After that, another mid-season mode that's going to be coming is Bounty, and this does sound familiar. If I'm not mistaken, we have seen this in the past. It's basically team deathmatch, but the player with the most kills from each team is marked as the high-value target, and you get extra points for killing that player. And then finally, when it comes to modes, I just want to point out there is going to be a mid-season limited time mode that will take place on those maps like Tetanus, Satan's Quarry, Spore Yard, and then the new ones, Skid Row and Airborne. So there we go. Those are the game modes we can expect throughout Season 2. Next, let's get into the brand new vest that they're adding, and this is the Ninja Vest. With this, it says Silent Melee and Throwing Weapon Specialist. You're able to have a tactical, a lethal, and a field upgrade on your class, and you're also able to choose one perk from each gear slot. So one perk from gloves, one perk from boots, and one perk from gear. And with this, the description states it eliminates footstep audio, just like the covert sneakers. It makes you immune to movement reduction effects, which I'm curious to look into. Like, I wonder if that counters a stun grenade movement reduction, or if it just means other sorts of movement reductions. You also get a bonus shuriken or throwing knife if you are using those on your class. And you are able to resupply your shuriken and throwing knives every 25 seconds. They also do mention that obviously duplicate effects don't stack, so if you are combining this with covert sneakers, you'll just end up gaining the effect of running sneakers in place of those covert sneakers. And while I personally would have preferred seeing a quick fix style vest, something that allows us to heal faster in some way, honestly, I'm happy to see this vest as well, because this does at least provide the potential to open up the boot category so we can actually try out some of the other boots in the game. Now, do I see myself switching to this on like all of my class setups? No, probably not. I think I will dabble with this vest a little bit. I may have the odd class setup that's specifically designed around using this vest, but I don't think it's going to be like my top tier meta vest from here on out. Now, moving on, let's get into the brand new weapons that are being added with this season. And at launch, we're going to be getting the BP-50, which is based on the FN F2000. This one has been leaked as well as actually officially shown off in some marketing material as early as Season 1 Reloaded. With this, they just mention it offers exceptional maneuverability and a spectacular rate of fire compared to other rifles in its class. I'm assuming it's also going to have fairly high recoil in order to compensate for that. Then for the other gun that's going to be added within the Battle Pass, so right at launch with Season 2, this is the Ram-9, which is going to be an SMG. And with this, they mention best-in-class recoil control and mobility, as well as the most rounds and reserve of any SMG in the game. So my guess here is it's going to be a lower damage, slower time to kill sort of weapon, but it has that accuracy and mobility to compensate for that. And then finally, for new guns that are being added within Season 2, this one's going to be coming in season as part of a weekly challenge. This is the SOA Subverter, which is a battle rifle based on the ARX-200, and it was leaked in the code that this was going to be called the HRM-762, but it appears they have gone with a different name instead. And with this one, they just mention excellent rate of fire and accuracy, manageable recoil, and best-in-class sprint to fire and movement speeds. So that's it when it comes to the guns for Season 2. However, they're also adding a new melee weapon, which is the Soul Render, and this is a sword, and they just mentioned it's coming in season, and it's redacted as far as how we earn it. Now, that may be it for brand new weapons that are coming. However, there's going to be a bunch of aftermarket parts coming throughout the season as well, and we've definitely got some interesting ones. The first one they mention is the Jack Burnout, which is going to be for the Holger 26 LMG, and this gives the Holger a select fire mode called Jack Burnout that provides a dramatically increased fire rate, but it can overheat and expand the barrel, which introduces spread or inaccuracy while firing. And at least on paper, that sounds like a very interesting way to handle the gun, and I'm very curious to do some testing on this. They mentioned that one will be a Battle Pass unlock. Next, we have the Jack Tyrant 762 kit, which will be part of a weekly challenge. And this one is for the longbow sniper rifle. They just mentioned it's a caliber conversion that's harder hitting and subsonic. Then, as another weekly challenge throughout Season 2, we're going to have the Jack Backsaw kit, and this is for the Holger 556. And this is just a conversion kit that makes the Holger 556 more maneuverable by removing the stock for faster, more agile tactics. Then we have the Jack Limb Ripper, also a weekly challenge, and this is actually going to be an underbarrel attachment, so it's not specific to just one gun in the game. And this is basically just a chainsaw as an underbarrel attachment, which sounds kind of hilarious and unique. I don't see myself ever using this, but I kind of like the idea of it just for fun. Then we have the Jack Maglift kit, which is for the Haymaker, again with a weekly challenge. And this one basically just allows you to have an extra large drum magazine on the Haymaker shotgun. After that one, we've got the Jack Outlaw 277 kit for the Bass B, and this transforms the Bass B into a lever-action rifle, which slows your fire rate, but vastly improves accuracy for deadlier precision. I highly doubt this is going to end up being better than the base Bass B, unless they happen to nerf this one into the ground, but it is interesting that we're getting something for that. And then finally, for aftermarket parts, we're getting the Jack Glassless Optic, which is just a small reflex optic, and we'll just have to wait to see what this ends up looking like in-game. And there we go, that's a bunch of aftermarket parts we're getting throughout the season. Most of those are just going to be weekly challenges though. And speaking of weekly challenges, they also revealed what our new camo is going to be for completing each one of the weeks throughout Season 2, and this one is going to be called Rotten Inferno. And then finally, the last thing I want to mention here that I feel is worth mentioning for multiplayer is it looks like they're going to be continuing the momentum with our events, and it appears there's always going to be a mini event of some sort active throughout the entire season. And it looks like it's going to be pretty similar to what we saw with the previous season, where some of these events you just have to earn XP to progress through them. Other ones require specific challenges in order to gain your unlocks. And it's something I feel they're doing a really good job with in this game, is always having something to work toward. And there we go. That is going to wrap it up for today's video on what I consider to be all of the important things that we learned about the content that's coming for Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer. I know I didn't touch on any of the cosmetics. Yes, there's a Walking Dead crossover and everything like that, but that doesn't impact gameplay, and I'm mainly focusing on the things that actually impact the gameplay itself. Overall, at least on paper, content-wise, this is looking like quite a solid season. Like I said, 4 6v6 maps coming. That's not what we're used to seeing, unfortunately, in recent years, and that's what we're getting this time around. Sure, there's only 3 weapons coming as well, but at this stage, I think I would rather see maps over weapons. We've got so many weapons in the game, as well as so many aftermarket parts, which in many cases are like effectively brand new guns, since they drastically change how that weapon performs. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, and just like always when we get these roadmaps, I am very curious to see the patch notes as well. Those will be revealed shortly before the update goes live next week. I am curious to see what sort of changes and weapon balancing and fixes that we will end up seeing with this Season 2 update. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Based on everything we've seen so far, how are you feeling about Season 2? Are you generally excited for all this content, or not so much? If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.